What's up, guys? Hey, how we doing? So, a lot of you guys are new to the channel, and I appreciate everyone who's subscribing. And also, if you haven't checked it, just make sure you're still subscribed, because for some reason, YouTube is unsubscribing people without their knowledge. So please double check that. But I was on Inside the Rut with the legend himself, Kenny Watson, and his co-host, Greg. Awesome. It was so much fun. They're going to post that up here pretty soon. Check it out. It's a great interview. But they were asking me about the press pass and how things went sideways, and I forgot. A lot of people don't know that story. So here's a little summary of how and why I don't have a press pass any longer.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So a few years ago, starting around 2018, I started doing some freelance journalism work because it's fun.
Did it fire you guys up last week after the Roxon injury that pretty much everybody kind of crowned Dungy at that point?
Then nobody handed me anything. There was no crown.
I didn't see a crown on him.
When it's done, when the championship's done and the guy's holding the one plate, that's when there's nobody crowned anybody last weekend.
Chris, Cooksey, Thumper Talk, Ryan. So is it safe to say there is a crown now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you are. Yeah, I was. Yeah, you caught me off guard a little bit in Phoenix, and I hate when people talk like, "Oh, you got this," and it's like, no, I don't. It's not done, you know. And so, apologize. So.
You know, my degree at Arizona State was business and communications with an emphasis on human communications. And that led me to be very intrigued in what's going on in riders' heads and how these things are going. And I didn't think people were asking the right questions. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. I had a buddy over at Thumper Talk, and they're like, yeah, cover it for us. So I started doing it, went from there to MotoX Addicts and Vital MX, and it was going great. It really was. But there were some small hints of trouble. My first really time getting into it with Feld was I posted a headline, and they didn't like the headline. Sean Brennan contacted MotoX Addicts over this headline about drunk fans. But it was the Monster Cup. They put a drunk kid on the podium for the press conference.
Son, did you find me? I might buy you a drink. Maybe. I don't.
He's wasted. He just won $1 million. And guess what? He was the best one in the whole press conference. I thought it was awesome. But they didn't like it. And they were like, they kind of sternly threatened Dan and me that, hey, don't put headlines out that we perceive as negative. Okay, whatever. So we played along, and I kept my press pass, and there was a few little instances like that, and it drove me crazy. And then at my the last time I had a press pass was Arlington before the virus hit. I did that interview with Jason Anderson, and if you can hear in the background, you can hear a girl from Feld who was pissed about the questions that I asked Jason when he said the AMA sucked.
Right. Fair enough. Thanks, man.
And she's like yelling to end the interview. It sucked. I was pissed, but I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you screwing up the interview? It was a great interview, and you guys have probably seen it. It's awesome.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, man.
But needless to say, no big deal. I let it go. Hits, and they were very selective to who they let go to Salt Lake. And I get it. I wasn't one of the ones they chose to go. But a friend of mine, Travis Delnicki, who was actually doing some stuff. At this point, I'd moved on to Cooksey Media, and I was doing the Cooksey Media website and some stuff for 2-4 Speed. But I was not credentialed to be at the COVID event. But Travis needed a mechanic. It was a mud race. I told him I would drive out and help him. So meanwhile, I'm out wrenching for Travis in the mud. And those of you guys who have been a mechanic, and I'm not a mechanic, but I'm washing bikes, running around. It's freezing cold. I'm literally halfway through blasting a bike off, and they pull me over to the trailer and tell me I can't do media. I'm like, huh? I'm sorry. I don't know what pressure washing a motorcycle seems like to you, but that's not media. So I'm like, just leave me alone. I was kind of annoyed by that, but then I realized, oh, I got a bit of a target on me for some reason. Fast forward that to later that summer, I was just doing a show with Coach Rob, and Coach Rob talks about Loretta Lynn's as the first couple days when everyone's figuring out what's going on. Riders put all this into it. Results are all over the board, and he calls it a shit show. So I called it the Loretta Lynn shit show. Immediately, Davey Kums reaches out to me, and he's pissed. He automatically assumes I'm talking about the event itself, and I explained it to him, and then he gives me this whole lecture about how what you say can contribute to the sport, like I really did something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I thought it was a great title. And if you actually listen to it, you realize we weren't making fun of the event. We were just talking about crazy first 2 days of racing with parents and kids, and it's a bit of a shit show. That's all it was. Davey and I, in between that time, we'd had lots of conversations and shared a lot of stuff. And I kind of told him where I was coming from, and we tried to keep it somewhat cordial. We're not friends. He liked to use that term friends later on when he was trying to control me. We were never friends. We were people who worked in the same business. But since we were cordial, I figured it would be fine to hit him up for a couple press passes to Paula, the last round of the Outdoor Nationals during that first season. And he proceeded to give me the fifth degree about why I can do what I'm doing, what I'm saying. And I was like, dude, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm good. But at that time, that really got me thinking. When he was grilling me the way he was, it really got my wheels turning of, okay, why is he says he does this, doesn't make any money. Because if you've talked to him, he says, I do this out of love. I'm a Racer X employee. That's where I make my money. MX Sports is just out of the love of my heart. Okay, fair, so be it. So I started looking into it because I kind of already knew some stuff, but I'm like, let me investigate and find out exactly where this money comes from and how much is there. Hey guys, if you travel a lot, hit up Coach Rob. He's got a recipe book for on the go, staying healthy. So yeah, hit up Coach Rob and get that book and he'll have you dialed in on the road. Epic Garage Designs. You guys know Epic. Epic has got that coolest stuff. Head over to epicgaragedesigns.com and get yourself whatever you need for your garage. So that was the fall. And then heading into the next year, I had been doing some research and reaching out to people and asking people, talking to sponsors and finding out how much they paid to sponsor the Outdoor Nationals. I talked to tracks, and these tracks, when I talked to them, they're like, yes, someone needs to tell the story of how much money MX Sports makes. And I broke it all down in detail. And this so-called, I do it for the love of the sport, MX Sports job, well, you do it for a lot of the money too, because there's a lot of money being made. And if you want to check out the article, which essentially got me blacklisted, it's over on the Facebook page, Cooksey Media, pinned to the top. These tracks sent me contracts. I had all the proof. I did not steal these. I did not sneak these. They sent them to me because they wanted this out there. They wanted people to see the stranglehold that MX Sports has on the sport in itself. So when I finally reached out to Glenn Helen, I got to talk to Bud Feldkamp, and he was pissed. He not only told me that, he enlightened me about how Davey Kums was part of the NPG, the National Promoters Group. And when the series was sold, he went to represent the NPG to buy the rights to the outdoor series when the AMA sold it. So he goes there representing this National Promoters Group that his dad, Dave Kums Sr., founded. He founded this in order to protect all these promoters and tracks. And Davey goes there representing them, comes out and says, we lost the bid, but hey, good news, MX Sports got it. How do you go representing one group and then totally undercut and buy it for the other group? I asked Davey this. Davey lost his mind and starts saying Bud's crazy. Bud doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, well, it seems pretty obvious what happened. You went there and you took care of yourself. So that, and I took the information I had from Bud, from Davey, from everybody, and I told Davey about the story. I even sent it to him. I said, this is what I'm going to post. And he came unglued. That's when all the, you'll never get a media pass, you'll be blackballed. And those aren't exact quotes, but these are things he was telling me. I mean, he was blowing me up to the point where I actually just blocked him from my phone for a little bit because he wouldn't leave me alone. And yeah, I was like, fine, I will give up press passes. I told him he could shove them up his ass. I think that's pretty sure exactly what I said. I said, shove them up your ass. I don't need your press pass. A press pass at Outdoor Nationals does nothing for you. There's not even really any extra access. There's nothing. So, I mean, yeah, it's a free ticket, but big deal. Like, it's not worth it. Guys, check out Ride Strapped. And if you want to go to the Cooksey Cookout in Florida, hit me up. Let's hang out. The Monday after, go to cookseymob.com and reserve your spot. Precision Transport. If you're shipping using a truck, These guys are by far the best. They have customer service and low prices. Hit up Precision Transport. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, so yes, I've torched the relationship with the Kums family, MX Sports, and I put out all that information. And yes, they shut down. I was a freelance guy with Moto X Addicts, Vital MX, 2-4 Speed, and these other people. They made sure none of these people would publish it. So they went to all of them and basically threatened them if they published this. So that's why it's only on my Cooksey Media Facebook. They did their best to silence it. So I strongly recommend you go read it. And then as far as getting sued, yeah, I welcomed a lawsuit because all the information I have, I can prove. I didn't steal it. What I didn't know was Scrooge McDuck and Mr. Burns were about to partner up on the Super Motocross thing to tackle World Supercross. Hence, Sean Brennan, the media manager at Feld, already didn't like me because I like to push the limits and say what I want, and I don't fall in line. I don't just walk in there and kiss his ass, and I don't see it the way they see it. They call their media partners. I'm not a partner. They don't pay anything for me. Yes, it's nice to get a press pass. Yes, it's nice to get some extra access, but we're in no means partners. And anyone that thinks they are, the only media in this sport that's truly a partner is Racer X, because they own MX Sports. MX Sports and Racer X are the same one. So that media conglomerate, that way Davey can do whatever he does. And guess what? He owns the largest media to spin it. It's actually quite smart. He got away with it for a really, really long time, and he's still getting away with it. And that's why this sport is stuck where it's at. So for those of you guys that say I made stuff up and that's why I don't have a press pass, you're out to lunch. I don't have a press pass because I stood up to Davey Kums and I pushed Feld a little bit, but once they merged, it all fell apart. And, and then I kind of went, I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting a press pass with either one. So I'm just going to let it all fly. And then I talk about Kenneth Feld's past and what he's done to journalists and allegedly hiring child molesters in the circus. He's not a good guy. You take that with what I know about Davey Kums, we have some seriously evil people running this sport, and that's why they won't give me a press pass. And that's fine. I understand. Not pissed at all. But you can bet your ass I won't shut up. And I'm going to keep talking about what I'm going to talk about. And they can't do anything about it now. They've gone after me in all aspects of the industry. But guess what? I'm a real estate agent guy. So if you need a house, hit me up. I'll get you dialed in. So thanks, guys. Remember, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.